Hello, tile friends. Welcome back to another episode of Tile Money, the podcast where we discuss the business of being a tile contractor. I am your host, Luke Miller, and I am a licensed tile contractor in the state of California. I'm up here in Washington, and Tile Money is sponsored by the NTCA, and this episode is sponsored by Laticrete International. And today I'm sitting down with my new friends, Jamen and Chanel Carrizosa.
Nailed it.
All right, good. How are you guys today? Thanks for taking some time out. Chanel, how are you?
Good. Wonderful.
Good.
Thanks for being here and interviewing us.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. I've been following you guys on Instagram and Facebook, so I'm happy to be meeting you and getting to know your business.
Yeah.
Now, I was just joking with Jim Upton. I said I should call this the brewery tours.
Oh.
Were you at
Me and Jim were at a brewery.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, you might want to check the YouTube video out. We're literally sitting inside of a brewery where they brew the beer. So You guys have the hookup here. It's super cool. It's my dream because I love beer.
That's good.
Yeah, I used to love beer.
So Chanel, let's start with you.
Okay.
How did you get your start in the tile industry? Oh, before that, you know what? Let's scrap that.
Okay.
What do you guys like to do for fun?
Well, myself, I love camping. First off, we love to go camping and just go to our favorite spot. It's an hour and a half away. We love to fly fish. And besides that, just my side hobbies by myself that I love playing tennis and I love snowboarding.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamin's hobbies.
Why, thank you. Okay, I'm going to refine that. We like glamping.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're trailered
Yeah.
people now. We used to tent camp and all, but we're older now and we want to be more comfortable, right? Yeah, we love getting out fly fishing. I've fished since before I could walk. As Chanel mentioned, tennis. That was a past career for me for coaching. You know, I played competitive junior tennis. Still get out and hit the ball from time to time. She plays a lot more than I do now. She kind of pushed me, years back to get into hockey because I've always loved hockey and never played, but she kind of pushed me. I got out there, and so I've been playing hockey. I've taken a little time off, keep getting hurt, but other than that, playing music. I play drums primarily, but I like to play instruments, guitar, bass. Not great at any, jack of all trades, master of none for sure, but those are the things we like to do as much as possible, and then we have to squeeze work in, right?
Yeah. You got to make time for work for sure. Well, how did you get your start in the tile industry, Chanel?
Well, it started pretty young. I was, I think, 17 and still in high school. And my dad did tile and my mom did tile as well. They kind of worked together. And I kind of just grew up in that and started doing tile with my dad and didn't finish high school and said we would do homeschooling, but that didn't happen. So I kept doing tile and then did it for a little bit and then told my dad I want to try makeup and went and did an interview and that didn't work out. So I went back to tile and just stuck with it.
Yeah. Very cool.
And
Very
it
cool.
Turned into what we are now over the years.
Yeah. Jamin, how about yourself? You've been in the industry a while?
I have a little less than Chanel. She was kind of one of my partners that got me started, I would say. But I have family in the business, and I got started, probably about 20 years ago. It seems to be the staple comment. I've been doing this 20 years, right?
Me too.
I was doing it plenty of those years incorrectly, I'll be honest. But I'd say about 20 years or so. I really enjoyed, when I first started working in it. As I had mentioned before, I had a career, in coaching tennis, and that was great. And I had before that, I was actually in construction management on residential projects. Did that for about 3 years down in Southern Cal. And so I always was around construction. My other parts of my family did fire protection, sprinklers, and so I kind of always had that in my blood, I guess. And when I started getting to work in some of the tile, it was fun. I think it's one of the best jobs in construction myself. We get to be creative. We're leaving something that's artistic, and we're technical. We kind of get to hit a lot of those elements, I guess, and I just found enjoyment in it. And we've been doing it together for quite a while. And I think we kind of team up really well because Chanel's fashion and design balances where I'm more technical and project management minded, so we can kind of really oversee a project well and hit those aspects.
That's great. And what does your business look like today? Who's your customer?
Well, I used to do a bunch of design for a handful of builders, and I would design the whole house, and that would include lighting, plumbing, cabinets, paint, handles, carpet, hardwoods, like everything that goes in the house.
Floor to
I would
ceiling.
pick
Wow.
out, and then we would get to tile those houses. So that gave us a lot of freedom and creativity. Like, I would never get asked, like, hey, what are you installing? What's going in this? Like, they'd give me, a decent budget. I'd
Yeah.
go pick out what I want, and we get to install it. So it was awesome. That has slowed down just a little bit. And right now we're working for some of those builders still, but now we're trying to get more into the custom. We feel we're really good at custom houses and like more detailed kind of tile work.
Okay.
And we'd like to get more involved in that.
As far as like just one project at a time, like one shower at a time, or like one bathroom. What do you mean custom?
Maybe
New
like
const-
one custom house at a time kind of
Okay.
a thing. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and we'll probably get into this here in a second. When we were doing all those projects Chanel was talking about, we had a crew.
Right.
So we're able to hit house after house, and our schedule is just blacked out. And that's all we did was work for probably the last 3 or 4 years and not really take any breaks.
Yeah.
And so now it looks like it's just Chanel and myself now. And we talked about taking on smaller projects, like you're saying, maybe because I think doing one bathroom at a time or in one space, or one, maybe 2 bathrooms in the house, who knows, would be a lot more manageable. But we said we were going to cut back, so we ended up jumping right into 3 large custom houses right back to back. 6 bathrooms, 2 laundries, big entries.
Yeah.
So it's just us two doing big custom
Wow.
houses right now
Yeah.
that have 6 or 5 bathrooms together, but somehow
We've been lucky with schedule, we'll say that much. But this
Yeah.
isn't where I see us staying. I don't know.
You do a lot of big floors too with those houses?
Not huge.
Okay. Like
I
bathrooms
don't
and
know.
stuff.
Like the house
kitchens.
we're working on right now there's 4 close to 300 square feet of downstairs 24 by 24s that we have to set. And
Yeah, it's not huge, but it's good size.
Yeah.
They're good spaces, and with 24s, we can get them down pretty quick.
Yeah.
They take up a lot of space fast, but
for 2 people, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
But we're getting it done somehow.
Yeah. So let's talk about the scaling back, because you mentioned you were at a size, you had several employees, and now why did you decide to scale back? It seems like things were going really well.
yeah, we were proud of what we were kind of achieving or accomplishing with our staff. The guys we'd hired and trained, and one of them got to be a CTI as well. And we're really
Nice.
proud of the work they were doing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't only technically right, it was looking really good. Chanel's very detail oriented, and, Eagle Eye would walk in and they'd be like, petrified if they had something out of square, right? Not joking. But we were really happy with their work, and it was fun having that business. But as we were, just talking to you briefly there, for the last 5 years, that's all we did.
Yeah.
We were trying to scale. We're trying to do so many things. Chanel was designing full houses, being at a site, setting for a little bit, getting the guys going, doing paperwork. I'd be, overseeing the guys, picking up materials, working on maybe a bathroom, getting somebody started. It was just a revolving machine that we were needing to start really scaling to keep it going.
Running in circles, it seemed like.
Yeah, and we had a couple hangups with an employee or so with insurance and stuff that got to be challenging, that set us back a little bit. But I would say we were grinding it out. Money was good, but we weren't living.
Oh yeah.
And I think I told you, we like to play a lot more than we work. And for a while there, we weren't playing. And I think that was a big mistake, was not getting the time back for yourself to kind of recharge, and just going at it so hard. So earlier this year, I'd say January 1st, pretty much, we decided to move our guys to a friend's company who's really structured already with insurance, 401ks, retirement, really good benefits packages. And so we made sure they had really good jobs. And it was tough letting them go. It was tough letting that part of the business go, but I'll be honest, we're a lot happier and healthier now.
Yeah.
And we're working harder physically, but we're also playing a lot harder.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And
a little more balance, huh?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah. Definitely work hard and
Play harder.
then go play harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to get these houses done and then take a little break off and then get another big house done and take another break off.
That's cool. Yeah. It's important to have that balance for sure. It's interesting too, because, the podcast is called Tile Money, and I talk about building up a business. But the beautiful thing about tile is, not everybody has to have a bunch of employees. It's a trade that really lends itself to artistic ability. And when I look at your website, I look at your Instagram, like obviously you guys, focus on that and focus on, everything, being kind of perfect and really being over the top, like just gorgeous designs. So do you feel like you're kind of pushing for a certain type of customer with your work and the way you market yourself?
I don't know.
I would say that is a work in progress. We definitely want to be in that high-end market.
Yeah.
That's where we feel we thrive.
You feel like you're more expensive on the
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attention to detail.
Yeah.
A lot of just taking those extra steps and time, which is important. A good friend, William White, once told me, sometimes you have to pump the brakes to go faster. So we don't always just get in there and grind it. We take a minute, really see what's happening. And like I was mentioning, I like to be really technically minded, and I love all the information we get, on the forums and groups and through the NTCA. It's great to have that support. So we feel that's kind of where we want to land now. And, we're starting to get our marketing up and going now. We have quite a bit of work through the rest of this year, which is great. But, to keep sustaining that and keep those same customers and hopefully find that, that customer base that maybe has a one-off specialty master shower as opposed to a full house that two of us are running around, trying to get done without helpers.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think our culture kind of lends itself to helpers. Mm-hmm. Anytime we've hired, we've always said, look, if you're looking for a job, we're probably not the right company. But if you're looking for a career, we want to help you take those steps, because most helpers don't want to stay helpers. Let's face it. They want to move on and have a career of their own or whatever, or do well in your company.
Oh, that's really cool. You're both CTIs.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was definitely a testing.
Yeah. Did you pass?
Yeah. Big weight off our shoulder, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I
remember getting home after and we were just like, we're done. We got it. It was definitely challenging. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like I've mentioned before, it's like the toughest little 3x3 area tile I've ever had to tile.
Yeah.
It was you wouldn't just looking at it, you'd be like, oh, that's no big deal. And then you go tile it and try to do it in a certain amount of hours, and it's panic attack almost. Whoa! I was running to the saw, doing all my cuts, and if I didn't run, I might not have passed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I mean, I'm definitely not a speedy guy when it comes to tile. I'm methodical. I definitely not a grinder that way. I think in my hobbies and sports I like to play, I like to grind and go as hard as I can at work. I don't want to grind myself out that much myself. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
I like to be able to take my time and work how I want to work. You got to hustle when you got to hustle, but the CTI was definitely a hustle.
Yeah, I mean, tile's hard work, no matter at what pace.
Yeah.
But I think one of the detriments to our industry has been the grind, has been the push. Because I myself have suffered repetitive injuries from tile because I grew up in a production mindset, track homes. And the thing about it is you're not going to last in the trade. It's not going to be enjoyable. You're going to look for pain relievers, whether prescribed or self-prescribed. Here we are at a brewery. No.
We're killing our pain.
But in reality, if you slow down and take it methodical, it's better for the industry. It's better for you. It's better for your life. So I think that's an important thing to highlight, really, is, hey, I didn't do it the fastest, but I did it the best, and I got paid. I really like that attitude myself.
And to me, there's nothing better when you're working than if you've got a good playlist and good music and you're just in your zone for a while.
Yeah.
No one's really bugging you. You're just doing your thing.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk a little bit more about the CTIs. You mentioned earlier, Chanel's one of 6, did you say? Female CTIs?
That's the information I got from CTF.
A handful of CTIs, women CTIs.
And I was looking at the numbers, and that's 0.5%.
0.5%.
0.5% of the CTIs are women.
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
Wow. Wow. So
Well,
you
would love to see more girls out there.
There's a bunch taking it coming up, I think. I think we've got at least 3 women taking it in the next
And you were
month.
saying you're going to be doing?
We are going to sponsor a female CTI.
Nice.
We certainly would like to designate to the Pacific Northwest first. But after that, we'll see what we get, what kind of response. The spot's already paid for.
Yeah.
So we'd like to see a participant who's been installing for at least a couple years.
Yeah.
And this is what they want to do to enhance their career.
Yeah.
And have a good opportunity at getting through it.
Yeah.
So those would kind of be the main, because I think that's just in general for the
We just
CTA.
need to get that number up a lot more, at least double.
Yeah, that'd be
You
great.
know, like that's not a lot of girls out there.
No, and we're seeing more women on the forums, though,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and more
There's
participation.
definitely a lot of female installers. Yeah. People say there's not, but there is out
No,
there.
I think they're out there for sure, and it's great to have them in the groups talking
Yeah.
and showing their work and being proud. And
Yeah.
I think we have a fun craft. And I'll be honest, women have a really great attention to detail.
Yeah.
Like Chanel said, her mom installed, she's installed, and I think Nettie, her aunt's installed. They're just always, focused on details and making the aesthetic look good.
Yeah.
So it's nice to find some balance, I guess.
What kind of challenges do you have working with your husband, Chanel?
Don't start. Don't start.
I believe you.
don't know.
I'm holding the mic, so.
I believe you're the second married couple I've had on my
Really?
show.
Oh, really?
Maybe number 3, but I believe it's number 2. Yeah.
Well, this November will be our 19th anniversary. So we've been together for a while here. And somehow it just seems to work. Like for 19 years, we've been doing it. And I think we kind of both have our own, like our split, not personality, but like our different jobs. Like
Roles.
I'm more design and like I love installing. I think Jamin's more technical mind and loves all the technical aspects of our jobs and really gets down to the nitty gritty with all of that stuff and really likes that. So I think just our combo together just works really good and somehow we make it work and we don't fight. I mean, there's definitely sometimes when we're like, no, I'm right. You're wrong.
Yeah.
But most of the time it works.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, that's just normal human stuff, right? Yeah.
I was going to say, no, I think that dynamic works well for us. But challenges, if you aren't having a great, morning at home and you take it to work, it's not a good day at work. So we kind of, I think Chanel's really good at always just kind of letting it just kind of, it's, like just repelling water off feathers, so to speak. Just like, hey, let's get working. Let's have a good day. We don't need to sit here in the mud and be grumpy about it. And I've kind of adopted that too as well. And we try to commute separate as much as possible, to be honest with you. Yeah. not intentionally. I'm a little more of an early riser and want to get there and get things set up a little more. And so then we get our time to listen to whatever we want to listen to. And we like a lot of similar music. So it's cool if she wants to hear her music while we're working, or I put mine, or we'll just put our headphones on and go work in our separate spaces.
No, just
Yeah.
I have a secret crush on Taylor Swift, okay? Not the music I listen to, but no, so we kind of find our own space usually at the job, and then some days we're working together, some days we're not, on the site. And I do a lot more of the prep work before we get started often.
Today, I was setting an entry floor, and Jamin was prepping another bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, it's doing prep, and then we'll join forces together tomorrow to knock the floor out. So I got that part done. So then we'll just join each other on the floor now to get the spaces done, to keep the trim and wood guys, keep them going so they can hang doors and run trim and all that stuff. So we kind of just try to manage the job well together.
That's cool. So it sounds like you both have your place, and then you come together on some projects, and you just respect each other for what you're capable of. And
oh yeah, I'm cleaning buckets, and no, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
You throw your buckets away?
Yeah.
I clean mine very clean. Like,
Yeah.
sponge, like, looks like there's never been thin set in them ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chanel is very clean at work. We always have this joke on the groups and stuff. People say, "How does she stay so clean? Is she really installing?" And I crack up because the clothes she wears, she could wear out.
No thin set on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always joke that if you see me at the store, people go, "Hey, are you a painter?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, I'm a tile setter, damn it." But I've
so
gotten
true.
cleaner because of Chanel.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why you got to wipe it on your clothes?"
Good
So
association.
Yeah.
so it's getting better. But yeah, Chanel's very clean. Her tools are always clean, and
Yeah.
the bucket just stays clean throughout the day. I'll look at him like, "Are you even using your bucket?"
Yeah.
And she just keeps it.
I love scraping my bucket clean every 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
I even wipe the rim of it with a sponge, and it is spotless every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is great when we
And
put
then
our.
at the end of the day, I don't really have to clean it that much. I'm just one wipe and it's done.
Well, I was thinking too, when you're using your dust containment, if you have thin set all around the edge and you go to put that thing on there, it's just a big mess. So
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah, for sure. So how are you guys finding these big jobs? I mean, what was kind of, looking back, was there a tipping point where it was like, oh, we've made it, or we're kind of getting into the better work, raising our prices and things of that nature?
Well, it was an interesting. For the past, I don't know, 10 or 12 years, we had worked with that same building group, so we had a lot of the same repeat customers for so long.
Okay.
That we had never marketed or hadn't even made business cards because we were just constantly busy, and we're just kind of doing it over and over.
We were really lucky during the recession and everything in 2008ish, or just we were lucky that the builders that we worked for kept building, and we just were lucky to have work all through that recession and didn't really have to take a big hit like everybody else did.
That's great.
We're down and dirty on pricing too, and we had to kind of help them get through as well. They had work, so we could see where she could design more, cost effective where we had to. Couldn't have all the bells and whistles, but we got through it. So I guess the point was when we decided to kind of tailor back or cut back with our staff, which was tough because we had just started kind of, I wouldn't say reaching it, but we started reaching to these really higher-end clients who had some really amazing bathrooms that we were going to be tiling, but we just couldn't end up following through without the staff. But just randomly, it was funny. We got a phone call for the next job. Boy, I'm getting lost here for a sec. But I think we had just finished a really large project for AGC, Associated General Contractors, a big affiliation. And it was a really tough project, commercial project, thin panel porcelain, all that stuff. And we decided we're going to take a break, take a couple of weeks off, go visit family in Southern Cal. And right before we were leaving, project manager from this company, I'd sent a bid out months ago, reached out and said, "Hey, we're going to be ready for tile soon." And I was like, "I thought your job was done by now." And he goes, "No, we had major delays." And I was like, "Look, I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks, but I can do it when we get back." And that was, our first custom. And then the project we're working on now was one that we had just met somebody at Tile Store when we were doing some work.
Yeah.
And wanted us to do the job, even if we were a small staff, and just back to the two of us. And then we still have projects coming up from one of the builders we used to work for, doing the higher end projects.
Yeah.
And as Chanel just mentioned, we just yesterday ran into another builder that we used to do work for. It did big customs, and just started talking, and now he's got 2 large customs he wants us to do. So here I'm talking about getting into smaller projects, but we've kind of been fortunate enough just to be around the community long enough, I think, and being out there and present and trying to do a good job and trying to promote proper standards, I think has helped us.
You're a Washington State ambassador for the NTCA. Is that correct? When did you get into that? Tell us a little bit about that. How does it help your business?
I think about 2 or 3 years ago, we really started getting involved and learned more and more about the NTCA and wanted to be more part
Okay.
of things. And I would say in terms of helping our business, besides being in that constant connection,
Yeah.
Hey, ambassadors, reach out to so-and-so, or here's information, or here's a training coming up, and being part of it keeps it fresh with yourself, and it gives you a little bit of accountability.
Yeah.
And boy, when you can talk to your customers, that you handle some of the educating and you help with the industry, that goes a long ways.
I would think so, yeah.
I had one contractor one time said, "Wow, you guys are real leaders in the industry," and I almost put the phone away and kind of smiled. I'm like, I'm not a leader, but we like to be we like to be present.
Yeah.
And because of our affiliations, we get the most modern information as it comes out. So we just want to do the best job we can and make sure that you have a long lasting installation. So it definitely helps. I wouldn't say I use it to sell, but I give the information to them to give them more confidence that who they're choosing to work on their tile is accredited, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And kind of a side point really quick. We did have a project, a woman last year, or I think it was last summer. She was from Germany. And we were talking about the CTI and certifications, and she was really happy to hear it.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, in Germany, she goes, they have to go to school at least 3 years just before they set tile.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of respect in Europe for the trades.
Yeah.
And she goes, here it seems like so many people just get their license, but we don't trust them. So she goes, it's great to hear that you have a certification. And that was a big part of us doing our job. She was
Selling point.
absolutely was.
Yeah. That's really cool. That's really awesome. What lesson do you wish you could go back in time and tell yourself? Something you would do differently when you were building your business, or?
Well,
It's a tricky one because we're where we are at today and we're happy.
Yeah.
kind of like
because
where
of the
we're at
decisions.
today. But I think definitely if I had went back to having employees again, I feel like I would want to hire out people to run certain things of the employees,
Okay.
so I could just go do my thing in design
HR
and
type stuff, I think.
installing. I just feel like I would need people to handle more of the employee aspect and office work.
You think you might try for that again in the future?
Maybe it's a possibility.
Open
We
mind.
haven't decided yet,
Yeah.
but I feel like right now, it's only been 8 months-ish since we have had no employees, and so far we like it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It might be too early to say just yet.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think those are good points. HR is tough, right?
Yeah.
As we were talking earlier, you learn the craft, you get a little better, and you get out on your own, and you know your craft really
Yeah.
well.
You know a lot about tile, but you don't know a lot about the business part, and I think that's a lot of maybe some of the peoples that are in tile doing what we do that they like doing tile, but they don't know the business part, and they
Right.
get stuck, and they can't.
Yeah, firsthand right here.
Yeah.
It was tough for us. We've learned along the way a lot, and we've had really good support, from the industry.
Yeah.
A lot of people that you've interviewed, I can call Dirk Sullivan at times when I have questions, and he's so quick to offer help. Aaron Albrecht has been a huge helper with our business. William White has just been outstanding, helping us with so much and trying to, encourage us to get there. So we've had, great support. And obviously, everybody at the NTCA, Jim and Bart, are always an open door.
Yeah.
And we plan on being at more of the events in the next years. It's the last few years was rough. We weren't getting away for any vacations, let alone going to an industry trade show that we get to see a bunch of our friends and stuff. So we're looking forward to getting out to services and coverings and
Cool. Very cool.
all that.
Good deal.
Yeah.
I love that answer because you can't wear all the hats, and
It's
really
so hard.
when you're
It's
really
too many hats.
It's too many hats. And when you're talented and you're good at something, you really need to focus on that and delegate what you're not so good at.
Yeah.
So I love that answer. And
That
if you guys
is
do,
totally what I felt when I was kind of in the situation. I was feeling like I'm really good at design and tile, but this office part, not so good at.
Yeah. I want to commend you guys for doing the right thing for you, and not really worrying about, what other people might be doing, because you knew we got to change something for our marriage,
It was definitely
for our
hard
business
to
Yeah.
change
I
that
believe
and to
it.
let go of that,
I
but we
believe it.
kind of knew we had to do it.
Yeah. And like your friend told you once about hitting the brakes to go fast. It's like, now you've had 8 months, you might have another 8 months or whatever it is. If you do ever decide to go back and hire more employees, like you're going to do it with better, precision and
what we're kind of looking for.
Yeah.
And the discussions too on tile money. I think when I was first seeing some of your posts, I don't know if you remember, I reached out, I'm like, boy, it'd be great if you had a group called Tile Money, and you sent me an invitation. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's cool. That's right.
And then, it's great because you see everybody's discussion. Everybody, can be honest and put out, hey, this is the problem I'm having.
Yeah.
And we've all faced those problems, so we enjoy it.
Very cool.
A lot.
Well, I'm very glad that you're part of it and you contribute. And thanks for sharing today. Thanks for taking some time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
the
having us.
interview.
It's an honor. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm looking forward to seeing you grow.
Thanks.